This is the rainstorm we were waiting on. There's a lot of standing water in her yard. Just gonna go check on Sugar to make sure that all this weather change did not spark her into labor. I checked her last night and she didn't look like she was... I didn't think that she was super close to foaling, so... Hopefully she's using the shelter like a smart horse. Good girl. Looks like you were not standing in the shelter for a while, though. Meanwhile, Raven over there would rather be out in the rain, being silly as per usual, because her boyfriend is not close to her, rather than staying in the nice sheltered spot. Yeah, it's chilly. No baby. But she is very, very, very full this morning. Her udder has definitely filled even since last night. Still waiting on these teats. See this crease right there? They're a little bit dimpled still. And she's not tight yet. And this one's that teat is quite indented still. But she's got, it's definitely getting close. Sorry, girl. She doesn't like my rain jacket. She's all bunched up because she's a little bit chilly, so can't really tell how loose she actually is. Hey? I had faith in you that you wouldn't dump your foal in a puddle. My voice sounds ridiculous because I'm still fighting a cold. And of course it's... Excuse you! Duke is over somewhere staying warm. We'll grab her some feed and bring it over to the shed. For some reason, I can't find my pitchfork. I usually leave it one of two places, and I do not know where it is. So I've walked back and forth a couple times. Oh, look, there it is. It's laying on the ground. I should have worn gloves. It's like 8 degrees Celsius right now. Feels like 6 degrees. It's chilly. Plus it's like wet chilly with a blowing wind. The drowned rat term has a whole new meaning right now. I'm wearing my rain jacket and I'm still very wet. I'm just watching the horses, seeing how they're doing, because we're getting a lot of rain and it's cold. The horses are shivering. So they shiver when they're cold. They're just like people. It's not like I'm going to say they're not cold. They are. They're feeling a little bit chilly, and that's why they're shivering, is to keep their body temperature up. I'm feeding them extra hay today so that they can burn that fuel in their belly, because they're burning extra calories, maintaining their body temperature. Now, Jezzy, Dottie, and Duke are all in fantastic body condition. They are young, they are healthy, they have good body fat on them, and yes, they're shivering a bit still. The ones that I am worried about are Sugar, Raven, and Breeze at this point. Sugar and Raven both have a shelter right now. I put feed in their shelter so they don't have to stand outside and eat. Sugar could either go back to her shelter and eat, or eat the little scraps that are on the ground where I set it over the fence, and that's what she's doing, is she's sitting out in the rain. She's even not shivering that badly, but I know that she has the option to go lay down in nice, dry, clean straw where the rain's not going to get to her and the wind's going to stay off of her. The wind combined with wet bodies where the horses are soaked through, it's not just sitting on the top anymore, their backs are soaked, that's where then you get that chilly factor. Am I like concerned for the other three, so Dottie, Jezzy, and Duke? I feel bad for them. I wish I could have 6 blankets and blanket all of the horses. However, I can't blanket them all because, number one, I only have one blanket, this one, and they're used to this. I know it might sound a little bit barbaric, but these are not like professional horses where they're being put up in stalls every night, where they wear their boots on their ankles. It's just a different life. Any horses that are on the range right now are not blanketed in our area. Probably at least 95% of the horses in my area will not be blanketed. Likely even more than that. Now, I'm not saying, okay, we should do what everybody else is doing and nobody else is doing it, so let's not. I'm saying that they are going to be fine. If we were going to have like a week of this, I'd probably maybe look into something. Problem is I can't put them all into this pen with Sugar and Raven, because number one, that shelter's not big enough for all of them. Number two, Sugar is in a stage in her pregnancy where she needs to be alone, otherwise she is going to get picked on. There is no horse I could put with her that I would trust to leave her alone. What they would do is they would bully her out of the shelter, and she'd be left standing outside in the rain, chilled to the bone, carrying a baby, already struggling as much as America's struggle. Raven, same thing. I'm not going to kick her out because she's our older. She is lame right now. She needs rest. I can't expect to kick her out to pasture. Okay, go find a shelter somewhere when there's a perfectly good shelter right there. Right now, the horses are all up front and they're eating. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try to throw a blanket on Breeze. So that's kind of the plan as of right now. Please don't put down hateful comments of like, how dare you leave your horses out in the rain? I know, but it's not like I can bring them in my house, and there's honestly no other option. I know a neighbor who he's got horses. His horses are left to their own means to find a sheltered spot, and there's lots of trees in their pasture. There's places they can get out of the wind. It's not going to be bone dry, but there's places where they can seek refuge. This is not the same kind of life that everybody lives. These are not horses that are used to being put up in a stall or a barn or anything like that. They are used to, likely none of these horses have ever even had a blanket touch their back, except for a saddle pad when they're about to go riding. And even then, I know for a fact that 3 of them have never had that. So, please don't come at me, because we are doing the best we can. There you go. Now she's got a little jacket on. It is a sloppy mess. Hey, girl. They'll get some food in their bellies. Unfortunately, there's not really many dry places I could put their feed. Yeah, she wearing a silly jacket. See, Breeze, you look pretty. There you go. The babies are like, what's this? We want to go outside. Oh, no, never mind. We don't. We really don't. Bambi, I don't think you do either. there you go. My hands, cold, very cold. My legs, everything is wet. Now I go inside and get warmed up. She's nice and cozy, staying in her shelter. So that's good. Hey. Just made sure all the babies got fed and the mamas, well, the does got some more alfalfa. Ooh. Hoof in the mouth. Okay, well, he did want snuggles. Then he's done. What? Are you munching on some food? Okay. Oh, and Thumper, you're back. They're super friendly, which I love. He's like, oh, no, please. I promise you wanted to hang out with me. Anyway, they're all doing fantastic, right? The sky has broke. It has been raining. It rained really hard till probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 o'clock. And then we weren't home anymore, so I'm not sure when exactly it quit. But now it is, I feel like somebody's shooting a gun. One of our neighbors. It's very loud. Pop, pop, pop. Anyways, there's a lot of water on the ground, but we are so thankful for getting this massive dump of rain. But I'm also kind of thankful that it stopped raining for now. I'm not sure what the forecast is like, but we will take a peek and see what it's supposed to be like. But it's kind of a soupy mess out here. And Sugar is still packing her belly, so she's still very much pregnant. And I'm going to get everybody fed. Hopefully I can get the hay to a spot that's not soaking wet. And then in the next few days, we're going to check fence lines across the road at the neighbor's pasture. And hopefully we can set a few of these ponies loose. Everybody's doing pretty good. I'm gonna get them maybe a bit more hay yet, just because I know that they've been burning a lot of calories staying warm today, so it's always a good idea to give them a bit extra. It's always super fun though when they trample it. It's just a mud hole. It's gross. I don't really, there's not very many places where it would be dry right now. It just kind of, it's all just standing, sopping wet, as you can see. Anyways, we're not supposed to get any more rain until tomorrow afternoon, and we're just supposed to get just a touch, just a little sprinkle of rain. So I'm actually going to take the blanket off of Breeze. I bet you anything that she's nice and dry underneath. Everybody else is dried off. Nobody's shivering, nobody's looking ill or lethargic or anything like that. Even little Jitterbug's doing good. So I'm going to take that blanket off of Breeze, and just to make sure that she doesn't get caught up in anything tonight. And then I'm going to pitch them a bit more hay, just to be on the extra side of things for feed, and I'll check on Sugar, and then we'll call it a night. Hey girly, is that better? Yeah, she's totally dry, nice and warm. She's doing good. Her legs look like Appaloosa legs. Hey you guys. That's good. I'm glad I put that on her. Just gave her a bit of extra help. Because meanwhile there's Duke here. As you can see, he's not really lacking in the body condition realm of things. Like running my hands across him, I can't even feel his ribs. Like, well, that's a lie. I can feel just very, very slight ridges maybe. But he's in really good shape. Hey, buddy boy. Looking good. These little marks often are from biting each other. We kind of bite at each other's flanks. That's just the way it goes sometimes. With horses in their pecking order. Ugh, let's see how much of a mess it is in here. Checking on Sugar here. She's doing good. Chowing down. Let's check the jiggle factor. This side, like usual, very, very, very soft. Jiggly all throughout here. So all that softens up in preparation for birthing. It's kind of like when I check the ligaments on a goat. This all softens up in preparation for labor is what's happening there. And I probably need my flashlight for this. I'll try to focus it. So her udder, she's still got dimpled teats there. They're not real filled out and pointy yet, but she is filling for sure. There's no doubt about that. But the back, I think she could fill a little bit more yet. This side is a little bit more misshapen, so I was doing some Googling. Apparently there's 2 or 3 lobules within one side of their mammary gland, so they've got 2 sides, right? But there's usually 2 or 3 lobules. I think I might not be saying that right. And we're kind of like, oh man, the front part looks a little bit funny, and this part back here is a little bit more bulgy. So it's possible that she may have had mastitis at one point in her life. We don't know. We don't know her history, unfortunately. But it's just something curious that we've noticed as her udder has started to develop. It may just be nothing. It just might be the uniqueness of her udder, but it was just something that we had looked into. We kind of have some bets going on with my husband and I. He's just like, oh, I don't think she's gonna last more than a couple days. Like, just the amount that she's been filling morning and night, like there's no way she's gonna last more than a couple days. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm actually worried about our next weekend plans. There's a big family reunion happening, and I'm a little bit nervous that we might be on foal watch that weekend. And he's like, you think she's gonna wait that long? And I'm like, I kind of think she might, but who knows? We were just really hoping that she wouldn't drop a foal in a mud puddle in pouring rain. And she didn't, so that's good. I still think she's got some filling to do. She's not a maiden mare, meaning like we know that she's had foals in the past. And so that typically means that they're not quite as likely to be like, drop their milk, foal out now. Obviously, we don't know her history. We don't know her habits, how much she fills. Does she wax 2 days before, 3 days before foaling, or does she wax and then 4 hours later have a baby? We don't know. But from what I'm looking at, and again, this is only my second foal ever, so do not count me as an expert. But I think that her teats are still too dimpled. I think that they can fill and elongate more. Again, every horse is different. Every mare is different. So we'll wait and see what happens. And I don't know. Let me know what your guesses are. When is she going to have this baby? Is it going to be this week? Is it going to be next week? Is she going to make us wait a really long time? I don't know. I am going to move the hay a little bit further out from the fence because it's too close to the wire. Anyway, these are all the things that you notice when after you've done your thing, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I need to fix that. So I'll fix that and toss these other guys a bit more feed. In case you're new here, I did explain, I think, in a different video about why are we feeding them hay and it's June. Isn't there plenty of grass for them to eat? Yes, but our pasture is relatively new, and it was not pasture, it was bush. And so my husband this spring actually we rented a mini hoe, and he cleared a ton of brush. And so there just wasn't grass that grew. We have received permission from our neighbors to graze the horses over there. Not everybody will go over there, but probably 3 of them will, and they'll get to be on luscious green grass, and we won't have to pay for hay all summer long. So once they're over there and there's no horses back there, then we will actually seed a bunch of grass, like kind of a grass mix for them. Just gonna put the blanket away. That way that can grow while the horses are out of it. And then meanwhile we will fence. I say we. Most of this is my husband doing this because I watch our little kids. I can't really help with fencing a whole ton because I'm usually preoccupied with watching the kids, and that's okay. But like, he will finish fencing the rest of the pasture. So he cleared the whole fence line. There's posts most of the way. There's just like the one end of our lot, like that runs like this, that needs posts and wire, the whole caboodle. So that's the plan. And then the horses can get kicked back there if they need to. There'll be some bush grass and whatnot, and they'll naturally kind of start pounding stuff down and clearing stuff out. And then we'll come in and we'll start chopping up deadfall and all of that kind of thing. When we bought this place, the only stuff that was cleared was from this woodshed up to the front of the road, and the rest of it was all bush. And so it's been from the ground up trying to get stuff ready for animals. We put in a very, very crude 3-strand barbed wire fence, kind of where the corral system is now, for the few cows that we had at the time. And it was just a disaster. They crawl through the fence, and we had to bring them home for calving season. Then basically we just turned around and we kicked them back out, rented pasture in a bowl at somebody else's ranch. And so we're like, what's the point of having cows? Because they're never home, and it just didn't make sense. So we kind of had to update the whole fencing system there. But yeah, that's why we're feeding the horses hay, is because there's not enough grass back there, and obviously we're not going to starve them. So we've been also like haltering them and bringing them out to the lawn and letting them eat some grass, and I pick handfuls of grass and take it to them. And there is some people that feed horses hay year round, and that's just what they do. Maybe they've got digestive issues, maybe they founder really easily. There's a variety of reasons that people feed hay year round, and it's not bad. There's just something absolutely wonderful, in my opinion, about seeing a bunch of horses in like a field of green grass, and I'm just like, oh, it's so beautiful. That's just, I enjoy seeing that. So, Nora, are you being yappy? It's time for your medicine, pup. You see a kitty, don't ya? Of course you do. I see the kitty too. He's stealing the dog food. Anyways, so we're gonna get them out on grass soon. And so that's going to be really exciting. I'll have to show you once they get turned loose. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of excitement. So there you have it. Everybody's fed, everybody's watered. I just got to take care of Nora's antibiotics that she has for her abscess on her chin, and feed the dogs. Right? We got to get you fed. Yeah. And then we'll say goodnight. This is probably going to be a really terrible angle, but I don't have my tripod. So she gets a half a pill of her antibiotics. She's really good, actually, at taking pills. She's probably going to be terrible today. Hey, here, take your pill. Oh, come on. I always do it from this side. With the pill, you want to put it to the very back of their throat so they don't spit it out again. I've also seen whoa, sorry about that. I've also seen the trick where you put the pill in the back of their... See? I told you this was going to be bad. This was going to be bad. Hey, don't. You can't lick the camera. No. Excuse me. I've also... Yes, hi.
little Miss Rose. I've also seen the trick where you put the pill in the back of their throat and then you kind of gently close their muzzle like that and you blow in their nose, and apparently it forces them to swallow. So that's really cool. Anyways, she needs to take it with food. So I just make sure that she eats a handful. And then obviously I feed her the rest of her supper. But just to make sure she's got some food in her tummy when she takes that pill. It's a little bit less destructive that way. But her little abscess is pretty much, it feels gone now. So that's excellent. Here, some more? Some more? Yeah, super poor footage. I'm sorry. But she's all good. Aren't you, my friend? Good girl. A little bit of a soggy doggy, though, with the rain. Soggy doggy with the rain. I mean, she could be in her shelter, but she chooses not to be. So I'll kennel her up, and then, like I've said for like the 5th time, we'll say goodnight. My nice mound of manure stuff, compost pile, I will come in and scoop that out with the tractor. For now, it just stays there in a heap, and I keep adding to it, and then the goats actually like to climb on top of it and jump around. I've actually seen them climb up on top of it, urinate, and then climb off. So they're super weird. Hey, Rose, I gave you food. I know it looks like a mess and a disaster in there. You'd heard me giving puppy food. You can't have puppy food. No, you can't have puppy food. It's not for you. Yeah, I know. I don't have anything for you right now. You had all your grain today. You did. You sweet girl. All right, bye.